let me share with you the background of someone who would later become known as Bar-Jonah. He was originally born as David Paul Brown in Worcester, Massachusetts, on February 15, 1957. Even as a young child, there were concerning behaviors. When he was just 6 years old, he developed a disturbing habit of picking at his scabs until they would become infected and then sucking the blood from the wounds. His mother was frequently called to school because this behavior was upsetting to both other children and teachers. A year later, in July 1964, when he was 7, he invited a 5-year-old neighbor girl to his basement, promising to show her an Ouija board that could predict the future. Once he got her there, he tried to strangle her. Fortunately, her screams alerted his mother, who rescued the girl. But Bar-Jonah faced little to no consequences for this serious incident. By age 13, he had escalated his behavior even further. He lured another 6-year-old boy from the neighborhood to a secluded hill under the pretense of going sledding together. Once they were isolated, he sexually assaulted the boy. These early behaviors in his childhood and teenage years showed disturbing patterns that would continue into his adult life. During his senior year in high school, Bar-Jonah, masquerading as a police officer, abducted an 8-year-old boy named Richard O'Connor who was heading to school, where he raped and strangled him in his car. The assault was witnessed by a neighbor through a window, who then informed the police. They discovered O'Connor unconscious and almost dead, and Bar-Jonah was arrested but received a probation sentence of indeterminate period of time. Days before his graduation and completion of his probation period, Bar-Jonah went to Hartford, Connecticut, posing as a police officer again. This time, he abducted a 9-year-old girl whom he had raped inside his car until she started to have convulsion and vomit. Someone noticed the license plate number of Bar-Jonah's car and informed the authorities, causing him to be arrested on this new crime. However, the notice of his new arrest did not reach the probation office of Brown, and he was released from his probation in May 1976 with a letter appreciating his cooperative effort. Bar-Jonah acted as an FBI agent on September 24, 1977, kidnapping 2 boys who were coming out of a cinema. He transported them to a remote location and put handcuffs on them. At the time, he weighed 375 pounds. Bar-Jonah left one boy in the trunk of the vehicle and took the second one somewhere else, strangling him to death by putting his own weight on him. Fortunately, he survived, playing dead despite Bar-Jonah's hits and cigarette ashes sprinkled on his face. Bar-Jonah left once satisfied that he had killed the boy, but the latter managed to escape and informed the authorities. Brown was arrested once more, and the other boy was rescued. For the attempt of murder, Bar-Jonah was sentenced to spend from 18 to 22 years in prison. Nevertheless, he was sent to Bridgewater State Hospital, where he often told his doctors about his fantasies of murdering, torturing, dissecting, and cannibalizing people. Interning there on March 22, 1984, Bar-Jonah changed his legal name to the current one, sometimes saying he changed it to respect his Jewish origin or to know how it feels to be discriminated Jew. 1 month later, he saw a 7-year-old boy in a parked car close to a post office in Oxford, Massachusetts. Bar-Jonah got into the car and sat on top of the boy before running away when other civilians saw what was going on. One of the police officers who arrested Bar-Jonah some 15 years ago knew him, and he was put behind bars once again. Bar-Jonah maintained that he went into the car because of the rain, and he wanted to wait until the owner of the car came back in order to request a ride home. When it comes to the boy, Bar-Jonah denied knowing of the child's presence, but he maintained that any possible danger to the boy would be accidental. Eventually, however, Bar-Jonah admitted that he wanted to kill the boy. As a result, Bar-Jonah was given 2 years of probation as long as he moved with his mother to Great Falls, Montana, promising not to return to Massachusetts. In Great Falls, Bar-Jonah started gathering toys and memorabilia, mainly from Star Wars, and arranged huge yard sales attended by many kids. His first encounter with the authorities in Great Falls took place in December 1993, when an 8-year-old boy whom he was babysitting charged him with molestation. Bar-Jonah used the fact that if he had really molested the child, he would have killed him. The case was dismissed after his lawyer stated that the right to a speedy trial was violated. On February 10, 1996, 10-year-old Zach Ramsay went missing while walking to school. Witnesses reported seeing an off-white vehicle nearly hitting him and noticed he was crying while being followed by an obese man. Detective Bill Belusi, who had previously investigated a 1993 case, took charge of the investigation. Despite the FBI providing him with a list of registered sex offenders in the area, Belusi focused on Bar-Jonah, who wasn't on any registry. The detective discovered several suspicious connections. Bar-Jonah had access to his mother's off-white Toyota Corolla, matching the vehicle description. Had the day off work, was seen standing in an alley just before Ramsay entered it, and was wearing a dark blue jacket similar to a police officer's uniform. Additionally, Bar-Jonah had been in close proximity to Ramsay and had mentioned his name to someone just days before he disappeared. Despite these connections, Belushi's attempts to obtain search warrants for Bar-Jonah's residence were unsuccessful. Eventually, Bar-Jonah moved out of his mother's house. On December 13, 1999, Bar-Jonah was spotted outside an elementary school for the third time in several days, wearing a dark blue jacket, knit cap, and carrying pepper spray, a toy gun, and badge. Despite skepticism from colleagues, Detective Belusi and the Attorney General charged him with impersonating an officer and carrying a concealed weapon. This led to a judge approving a search warrant for Bar-Jonah's properties. During the initial search, police found alarming items including 2 coats, 1 dark blue, toy badges, a stun gun, a security enforcement cap, a ceiling pulley in the kitchen, albums with cutouts of children, and documents about bondage and autoerotic asphyxia. 2 days later, a second search warrant revealed even more disturbing evidence. A list of boy names from Bar-Jonah's Massachusetts youth, including 3 he had molested. An entry for Zachary Ramsay next to the word died. 3,500 photographs of children. News clippings about Ramsay's disappearance. Undeveloped film containing sexual images of Bar-Jonah with 3 unidentified boys. A coded cookbook with horrifying recipes like Little Boy Pot Pie and French Fried Kid. A large bleach-scrubbed plywood section in the garage with meat cleaver marks. Luminol tests revealing the word Tita on the floor, possibly linked to James Tata, a 15-year-old boy raped and strangled in New Hampshire in 1973. This collection of evidence provided chilling insights into Bar-Jonah's disturbing activities and possible connection to multiple cases of missing and murdered children. Further investigations strengthened suspicions that Bar-Jonah had killed and cooked Ramsay and possibly other children. In the days after Ramsay's disappearance, Bar-Jonah hosted neighborhood cookouts serving deer burgers that tasted strange, claiming he had personally hunted, killed, butchered, and wrapped the meat. This was suspicious since Bar-Jonah didn't own a gun or hunting license, and his credit card records showed he stopped buying food for a month after Ramsay vanished. A former roommate had seen bloody gloves and soiled boys' clothing matching Ramsay's description at Bar-Jonah's apartment. Bar-Jonah also made disturbing comments about Ramsay, including saying Ramsay would never be found because he had been chopped up with parts scattered in different places. Physical evidence included hair resembling human hair found in Bar-Jonah's meat grinder and 21 bone fragments belonging to a boy between 8 and 13 years old excavated from a former residence. Despite these findings, DNA from the hair and bones matched two different African American males, neither of whom was Ramsay. Ramsay's mother refused to believe her son was dead or that Bar-Jonah was involved. Influenced by a psychic who told her Ramsay was living in Italy, she even threatened to defend Bar-Jonah if he went to trial for her son's murder. Consequently, charges related to Ramsay's disappearance were dropped. The investigation then focused on other potential victims. Two boys from Bar-Jonah's apartment building appeared in his photographic collection. One confirmed Bar-Jonah had molested him during a sleepover, while the other visited Bar-Jonah in jail and maintained they were friends and he had never been harmed. Bar-Jonah was eventually charged with sexual assault, aggravated kidnapping, and assault with a deadly weapon related to practicing erotic asphyxia with one of the boys using the kitchen pulley. In 2002, he was convicted and sentenced to 130 years in prison without parole. He died in his cell on April 13, 2008 from a heart attack related to his obesity. 3 years later, despite his mother's opposition, Ramsay's father had him declared legally dead.